there, kid. You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before.
Hello, beautiful beings. My name is Sherry. I am an intergalactic healer and intuitive, and I'll get into a little bit of what that means. But if you have stumbled across this, then hopefully what I say resonates. Take what resonates, release what doesn't. But if you have come across this video, then I just want to congratulate you on your soul's journey. There is some kind of frequency alignment if you have stumbled upon this. So hopefully you can continue to listen with an open heart and an open mind. That being said, what does it mean to be an intergalactic healer and intuitive? So essentially, when I was doing my Reiki journey to become a practitioner, I had the pleasure of doing meditations that brought me way back to a lifetime where I was on a different planet and was able to manipulate molecules. We'll get more into all of that fun stuff at a later date. So this is not something new to my soul. This is something that my soul is quite used to, almost like a playground is what they show me. And so being an intuitive healer means that I help other people activate the healing within themselves. I'm not doing the healing, I'm activating. This can happen in a lot of different ways, and we'll get into that as well, whether it's through sound, whether it's through meditation movement, whether it's through light code and other techniques. I connect with intergalactic guides. I have a whole council I connected with this morning that helped me recalibrate myself before today. And this is going to be really important during this time where we're feeling so much purging or loss or chaos or however it's resonating within our nervous system and in our bodies. We're all kind of feeling big feelings right now, and that is okay. And it's going to show up in a lot of different ways. So what really motivated me to start this podcast was my counsel saying, hey, you have all this information. Why are you keeping it in a journal? Be brave. You're here to help other people activate within themselves healing, to connect inward with themselves to their higher spirit like you did. Why are we holding back? So here I am, as uncomfortable as it may be for me to be here. It is something that I've been called to do, and I really hope that what I bring to the podcast helps resonate and unlock things within you through awareness. So that being said, I wrote some notes down here so I wouldn't forget what they kind of wanted me to go over with you today. My perspective comes with billions of lifetimes worth of lessons and different planetary lifetimes included. So some of the things I may say will resonate, some won't. That's completely okay. My soul has been around for over 10 billion years. So when I do or talk about certain things, just again, keep that open mind, see what resonates, see what doesn't, comment below of what is resonating for you, and we can always expand on other topics as well. So that being said, why Sirius upgrades? I had a friend ask me, I love the concept, why Sirius? So Sirius, for those of you who don't know, is a star in the sky. It is the brightest star in the sky. And if you relate to being a star seed, there were moments, right, when we were little that we would look up at the sky and we would feel this longing, right? Like, I just want to go back home, or I don't for me, it was looking up at the sky, feeling like I feel more comfortable there than I do here, and not really understanding as a kid really why I was feeling that way. But I would just look at the sky and it would bring me comfort. I would feel safe, and I could feel almost like family looking down from other planets. And I didn't really understand, right, intergalactic wars and history or any of that at that point. I just knew that I felt so weird being here. I was not one that made friends easily. And I would look up at the sky and I would just know it was going to be okay. And I could look at the sky and the stars for hours. So a lot of starseeds say the same thing, that when they look up at the sky, they feel at home. They feel maybe even a longing to be back, and they feel, comfort. And so what better way but to include, the one of the biggest, star groups, the Sirius star groups. And for those of you that know a little bit about, galactic kind of history, the Sirians are one of the intergalactic or galactic beings, aliens, some people call them, that were around, that helped us and are helping us through this shift into the 5D frequency as Mother Earth and Gaia shifts their, its blueprint as well. So that being said, when I was connecting with my higher, self, and I was asking, what should this, name be, year or so ago, I'm so stubborn. They gave me serious upgrades. And this was for multiple reasons, right? The galactic part, right? But also my counsel, my higher self that helped me help others. Some of them are Syrian, and I had a Syrian life. And what I pull on when I am healing is those techniques and those galactic, techniques really is what they're telling me to tell you to help heal. And so it is through these Syrian techniques and upgrades that they're communicating, that they're helping us, that they're helping our vehicles, our bodies here be able to increase our frequency so that we can have an easier transition into this 5D world. If I've lost you, we're going to break all of this down, throughout the podcast. So if that's something you want to learn more about, comment below, let me know. I can dive a little bit deeper. I know I'm kind of going all over the place a little bit here with these concepts. But the main takeaway is that there are beings out there that see the chaos that we're feeling here and the shift that we're feeling, and they're here to help. They're our brethren in a way. We are connected to them through our DNA, and they want to help us. It's out of love, and it's out of, to bring us grace in this transition. And so they're going to continually communicate with me. They've given me some guided meditations and some ways to help make this transition easier. So literally what we're going to be doing here, other than talking about like these topics, right, of what is a star seed? We can break that down even more. They said they wanted to go over how we can sharpen our bond within ourself, with our higher self, how we can go inward in order to answer what we see as the external, right, kind of chaos, or the external issues that we're experiencing. For some of us, we know that everything is a projection of a reality that we're projecting in this like simulated kind of world. And so if we want to shift something on the outside, it starts from within. So we're going to go more into that. We're going to go more into non-duality and what does that mean, right? We live in a world of right and wrong, black and white. We live in a world of negative and positive. So how can we bring the perspective or the energy of non-duality in a world where we literally live with the North Pole and South Pole and are affected by it, right? And so how does that even work? We're going to go over how to maintain, right, like sanity, really, right, and being grounded during all this chaos. So there are many, many topics that they want us to touch upon. If you're looking for meditations, if you're looking for practical ways right now to feel less off kilter, then, you know, keep chiming in. Hopefully you'll find it resonates within you. Again, if anything I say doesn't resonate, just take what does, release what does not. And that's why it's called Sirius upgrades. And they think they're really funny, right? Like my counsel, my higher self is like a comedian. So if you like a good time, this is definitely going to be a good time, because when I was sitting and I was thinking like, what am I even gonna talk about, right? In like the first part, there's so much to talk about. Where do I start? Like, I just sat there and I'm like, where do I start? And of course, I heard in my head a song. I don't know if anybody else here has people, has like higher selves or councils or whomever they connect with, spirit guides, angels, that like to communicate through song. It's very common. And so I started hearing the sound of music, you know, the song where, you know, start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. And I had a giggle because I'm like, okay, it's really helpful. Spirit, you want me to start at the beginning, because that is, of course, the best place to start. But what is the beginning? And everyone's beginning looks different. So how do I start at the beginning? And that's when I had a friend that was like, oh, why Sirius? And I was like, okay, they're guiding me to communicate already, you know, and I just have to trust that and listen. So we're going to go over how to tap into that kind of intuitive voice. There's going to be maybe some book recommendations that come out of these podcasts. Just know none of them are endorsed. They're just tools that I use to be where I'm at. I grew up in this spiritual world from birth. Before that, right? If we're looking at intergalactic lifetimes and prior lifetimes. But this lifetime, I was lucky and I got to grow up in a really spiritual family and got to really explore that. So these things that, you know, are going to be emerging out of these podcasts are going to be decades worth, if not billions of years old, to help you shine and help you feel healthy and vibrant and increase your aura saturation, brighten everything in your life. So if you're feeling right now like something's off, or you feel like a yearning, like there's got to be more to life than just like kind of waking up, going through your to-do list, or if you just feel like you want better overall health and wellness, or just to feel sane right now with everything going on in the world and here in the States, then keep chiming in, because you never know what's going to start your journey of awareness. And sometimes just hearing something, and then we have a dream, or there's synchronicities, right? You start to piece together the synchronicities of what frequency we're supposed to be in, and there's going to be support in that. So I will do my best to break things down in a way that, and in a perspective that's unique. And I am really just here of service. Again, I have literally an entire, and this is just one of the many journals full of information that they gave me, and they finally were like, okay, like, come on now, be brave, go out there, start sharing some of these perspectives that we've shared with you that has helped bring you healing. I was not always a very calm, positive person. I struggled on and off, and still do, with anxiety and depression, especially as a kid. I felt very isolated and had to move through that with grace. I've been on and off medications, and I am off of them right now. And the only reason is because of my spiritual practice, understanding my nervous system, trusting my intuition, and making shifts in my life, but from going inward, and then knowing that when I make those shifts, that everything is aligning. So some of the perspective is perspective of, this is not a loss, it's a gain. And that is a really, really hard perspective to have. Because let's be real, right? Like when we lose a pet, or we lose a family member, or we lose a job, or we lose even maybe a part of who we are in some way, or maybe a home, or whatever it may be, in that moment, it does not feel very spiritual, right? Like it does not feel good. And so to link in our brains that this is being done for our better good is a really hard concept for us to grasp, right? Like here in our earthly selves, like maybe conceptually, right? We're like, this is for our better good. But in that moment, it doesn't feel good. And so what do we do when we're experiencing that loss or that grief? And how do we transmute that? And so it's not about letting it not exist. It's not about treating those moments like they're not as hard as they are. They are, and they're unique to being here on Earth. So sometimes it makes it even harder. It's learning that it is okay wherever you are at, and then just breathing into that, accepting it, and starting to heal what it triggers in your chakras or your nervous system. And so if you feel it around your heart chakra, right, there are techniques we'll go over. If you're feeling it in your head, if you're feeling it in your stomach, if you're feeling it in your root chakra, right, your back or your legs or somewhere else, it's going to resonate in some area of our body. Usually it ends up making us feel ill. And so I started that journey almost because I had no choice. I have not only all of the mental anxieties and depression, but I have chronic pains and an autoimmune situation, as I call it, which is just my body giving me direction and alerts, right? So I can transition these frequencies and everything going on. It's a line of communication, if you will. So I started to look at my chronic pain as alerts. It almost like a fire alarm is going off, right? And so instead of looking at it as, oh my gosh, my back is out and I can't walk, what is wrong with me? It's, oh, my body is sending me an alert. Am I listening to that alert? What is that alert meaning? And for me, it was going inward in healing inner child. It was doing chakra, root chakra work. It was becoming a Reiki practitioner so I could learn as an empath how to transmute the energy that I was taking in and cleaning it and purifying it. There are so many things that we all experience, and it's so nuanced and individualistic, but the techniques that we use, whether we have, neck chronic pain or back chronic pain, still helps us make it a smoother, more graceful experience. Sometimes the pain completely goes away. Anyone who has done Reiki knows if there is a lesson to the pain, if there is a purpose to the pain, then a healer is not going to be able to heal that because it's not in the best interest for that lesson and that soul. So just keep that in mind as we go through different techniques in this podcast, that there are going to be moments where you do something and you're like, this did not actually do what it said it was going to do. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why it's still activating an alert in you to redirect your attention or your energy somewhere for either deeper healing or deeper lessons. That's where I want to say the fun begins, even though that seems fun. But just remember, right? We chose to be here during this time because this experience is a very unique experience. You can't get this kind of experience anywhere else, right? This kind of grief, loss, dense energy. So for those of us that are star seeds, it can be very uncomfortable because it's a very dense energy, and that's okay. It's okay to live feeling like that's not what I'm used to, that's not what I like, because there are ways to sit in that, and there are lessons from that that your soul wanted to live, right? Like if we were always on a planet, we were little orbs, dancing around, we wouldn't have the opportunity to have the purpose that we have, that if you are called to be leaders in this transition at this time to help others, or your soul wouldn't grow in the way that your soul signed up for. And so remember, as we transmute these different energies that are blockages or whatever they may be, we're gonna give ourselves grace. We're gonna give ourselves permission to experience it however we experience it, and that's fine. It's perfectly gonna be imperfect in however it shows up, and that self-love, to have that grace with yourself, is part of the journey. So welcome. I am excited you are here. Again, congratulations if this came across any of your feeds, or if someone shared it with you, because it means you are in your spiritual journey, and at that point to really start living in a frequency of love, for your highest good, and that's a really exciting place to be. So I know things feel crazy, and I know things feel chaotic, and I know things feel like they're never going to be okay sometimes. It is going inward, taking that moment to reconnect to ourselves, and knowing that we are gonna be given what we need exactly at that time that we need it, and to just breathe into that. So if this is something that you needed, let me know, share it with other people, give it a like so that, it increases the algorithm so more people can see it, how kind of that works. And then I'm just gonna come up once a week and post, whatever downloads they want me to share for that day. So today was all about going back to, where did it start, right? Let's start at the beginning. And the beginning is for you to get to know me a little bit as an intuitive galactic being, and knowing, the reason for the podcast, and the reason why it was called Sirius Upgrades. So they couldn't help themselves but give me a good pun, because it's serious like the star. It's serious because it's something we need to do to shift into the 5D. And if you're watching this, I don't think anyone's choosing to live in the 3D world or frequency or dimension. And it's serious because it is going to be bringing us back to our Sirian roots. So that being said, the beautiful heightened happiness in me honors the heightened happiness in you, and together we will integrate these serious upgrades that are going to help you live a more fulfilled, more graceful, beautiful life of self-love in alignment, where things are in the flow of the universe and life just feels more aligned. If that resonates with you, continue to watch. On our next podcast episode, I never know what they're going to tell me. I'm never going to know if I'm just going to sit down and they're going to just start talking, or if they're going to want me to do a meditation. So we'll go on this journey together of not knowing what the podcast is going to be about, as the lesson is to be in the now, not in the past, not in the future, but in the right moment now. So thank you again for showing up for yourself, showing up for Gaia, and helping us expand this frequency to other people. And if there's any, specific topic that you want to go over, don't be afraid to share it in the comment section. And from there, we will continue to do our Sirius upgrades. Until the next time, I hope that your week is in alignment. You are just seeing the synchronicities and are living in grace. If you are feeling that that is something that is not happening at this time for you, and you're open to really, what are they wanting me to say? If you are feeling like that is something that you want but doesn't seem attainable, they want to reassure you that there is a timeline where you are already what you want. And these Sirius upgrades are going to help you claim that. So you don't have to believe it or see it now. That's okay. Just know that that's true. And then if you want more information or feel like, I need more one-on-one kind of like, let's get the ball rolling. I am ready. I don't want to do things weekly. I just want one-on-one. Let's get the ball rolling. I do have additional services on my website, SiriusUpgrades.com. So if you want Reiki, I do distant Reiki. If you want a reading, or you can go look at those services. So if you're feeling really, really stuck and like you really just want to get the ball rolling, then feel free to go take a look and see if any of that resonates. If not, no worries. I'll be here next week. But thank you for being here for yourself, and let's see what our week holds for us.
You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before.